special briefing for a very special visit. As I had mentioned in my press briefing yesterday, Honorable President of India would be undertaking a visit to Nepal, a state visit. This will be the first visit by a President of India to Nepal in 18 years, and to brief you on this very important visit, which is going to happen next week. I have with me Shri Rajamani Venu, my friend and colleague, who's Press Secretary to the President, and Shri Sudhakar Dalela, who is Joint Secretary North. The way we will handle it is Joint Secretary North will give you a broad opening statement which will cover the main points of the President's visit, and that will be supplemented by Press Secretary to the President, and then we'll open up the floor to questions. So with that, I give the floor to Joint Secretary North.
Thank you very much, sir, for giving me the floor. And thank you very much for attending the briefing session this afternoon. Let me begin by wishing you and your family a very happy festive season. You are aware that Rashtrapati Ji will be paying a state visit to Nepal at the invitation of the President of Nepal, Right Honorable Vidya Devi Bhandari. Rashtrapati Ji's visit to Nepal is the first high-level visit from India since the formation of new government in Nepal in August this year. This visit is also the first visit by any head of state to Nepal after it became republic in 2008. The state visit of Rashtrapati Ji reflects the priority that we attach to further strengthening our age-old unique partnership with Nepal and our shared historical and cultural linkages and wide-ranging people-to-people contacts. A high-level delegation will be accompanying Rashtrapati Ji on this visit. Most of you follow developments in India-Nepal relations very closely, and you are aware that regular exchange at the political level is a hallmark of India-Nepal ties. The intensive high-level engagement in recent times has provided considerable momentum to our close and friendly ties with Nepal. And here I refer to the landmark visit of our Prime Minister to Nepal in August and November 2014, and the visit of Prime Ministers of Nepal to India this year in February, September, and few days earlier for the BRICS BIMSTEC Outreach Summit. Our EAM has visited in Nepal 5 times in the last 2 years or so. Besides high-level political exchanges, I must add that a number of bilateral mechanisms at the functional level have met in recent times, covering issues such as trade, economic cooperation, agriculture, water resources, power cooperation, defense and security, post-earthquake reconstruction efforts, culture, education, and connectivity projects. On the eve of Rashtrapati Ji's visit, only yesterday, the India-Nepal Joint Commission meeting was concluded, which is co-chaired by the 2 foreign ministers, and which reviewed all aspects of our bilateral cooperation. You have received a detailed readout of this meeting from the official spokesperson yesterday. We are giving particular focus on our ongoing development, connectivity, and economic projects, as well as number of projects under the lines of credit. These projects are being reviewed periodically at the highest level to ensure their timely implementation. We are also trying to move forward expeditiously on the post-earthquake reconstruction projects, where India has committed $1 billion assistance to Nepal. It is in this context of intensified engagement with Nepal that the state visit of Rashtrapati Ji is taking place. The visit by Rashtrapati Ji to Nepal is taking place after a gap of 18 years. The last visit by our president to Nepal was in May 1998. During the visit, Rashtrapati Ji will be holding talks with the President of Nepal and have meeting with the Vice President and Prime Minister of Nepal and other leaders on a variety of issues of mutual interest, and I alluded to some of them just now, with the objective of expanding ties with Nepal. You are aware that Rashtrapati Ji has had very close association with political leaders in Nepal cutting across party lines, as well as members of the civil society over 5 decades of his public life. For all these reasons which I just mentioned, the state visit of Rashtrapati Ji to Nepal assumes very special significance for us. Let me give you an overall sense of the program elements of the visit also. Rashtrapati Ji will arrive in Kathmandu around noon time on 2nd November, which is also the main day of engagement. In the afternoon, there would be calls by the Vice President of Nepal, Prime Minister, and other dignitaries. On the same day, Rashtrapati Ji would be meeting with the President of Nepal. Honorable President of Nepal will be hosting a banquet in honor of Rashtrapati Ji in the evening. Thereafter, Rashtrapati Ji will be attending a civic reception in Kathmandu and addressing a think tank event in the afternoon. Prime Minister of Nepal will be hosting a banquet in honor of Rashtrapati Ji on 3rd November. Kathmandu University will be conferring honorary doctorate on Rashtrapati Ji at a special convocation. Apart from Kathmandu, the Rashtrapati will be visiting Pokhara as well as the ancient city of Janakpur. And during his visit, he will be visiting sites of cultural and historical significance. Rashtrapati will be traveling back to India in the afternoon of 4th November. As I noted earlier, it is a special goodwill visit by Rashtrapati to Nepal, which we are confident will further cement our close and multifaceted ties with the people and the government of Nepal. Thank you.
I will now turn to my colleague, Sri Rajamani Venu, for any points he may want to supplement.
Thank you, Vikas. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Diwali to all of you. As has been already mentioned by my colleague Sudhakar, the President is a person who has had a long involvement with the people of Nepal, with the political leaders of Nepal, and he has been a person who has played an instrumental role on behalf of India in his different capacities as Defense Minister, as Finance Minister, and as External Affairs Minister in the process of democratic evolution within Nepal. He therefore attaches the highest of importance to this visit. As was already mentioned, this is the first, not only is he going there with all the wealth of the contacts that he has, it is also the first presidential visit from India to Nepal in 18 years, and it is the first ever high-level state visit after the democratic constitution was established from any country in the world. So all these add to the significance of the visit, not to mention all that would be discussed during the visit, the agreements which would be signed, and the detailed program that the President has within the short period of 2 days. During his presidency here, during this presidency, President Pranab Mukherjee has received in Delhi a large number of leaders. These include the former President Dr. Rambaran Yadav. It includes former Prime Minister Dr. Baburam Bhattarai. It includes the former Prime Minister Dr. K.P. Oli. Just recently, the Deputy Prime Minister of Nepal, Mr. Khadga Prasad Sharma, had come and called on the President, and Mr. Prachanda, the Prime Minister himself, was here recently and had called on the President. The President will be accompanied by a minister in waiting. That would be Dr. Subhash Bhamre, Minister of State for Defense. He also will have 4 members of Parliament accompanying him. These include Mr. L. Ganeshan, Member of Parliament Rajya Sabha from the DMK, Shri Jagadambika Pal, Member of Parliament Lok Sabha from the BJP, Shri R.K. Singh, Member of Parliament Lok Sabha from the BJP, and there will be one more Member of Parliament whose details are still awaited and will be finalized shortly. Thank you.
With that, the floor is now open to questions. Seema.
For the anti-India how are things in Nepal, and the anti-India feeling that was so prevalent earlier, has it come down? Have we been able to reassure them?
Well, we are as I mentioned to you, we are in a phase of a very intensive engagement at the political level, at the functional level, and we are trying to work with the government of Nepal in different areas. There have been, in terms of, let's say, trade and economic or investment, there have been cases where we had concerns about safety and security of our people working there, but we are working very closely with the government of Nepal to address those concerns.
I think the point that you were making, if you look at the statement that was issued when the previous Prime Minister of Nepal had come, Mr. K.P. Sharma Oli, he himself had said that, I'm very happy that all the misunderstandings that had been there have been removed, and I'm going back a very satisfied person, and the relationship with India is restored to its original level. So he said that, and of course, since then, we have had a visit by Prime Minister Prachand. We've had 2 visits by him, and he has also of course, reinforced the age-old ties of Roti Beti Ka Rishta between India and Nepal, and I think this is a forward-looking relationship, and this visit will, I think, add to that forward-looking component of that.
If I can also add to that, when Mr. Prachanda was here, President Mukherjee had very clearly conveyed to him that India has nothing but goodwill for Nepal, and that India's interest in Nepal is only peace, stability, and prosperity of Nepal.
India has been actually pursuing for the earthquake rehabilitation, and the projects were not coming forth from the Nepal side. So are the projects now ready? Because we were ready to give money, but they were not ready with the plans. Is there any update on that?
Thank you for this question. I must say that we are moving forward now. You are right that we had, Government of Nepal took some time to share with us the project that they want to undertake under the grant assistance of $250 million that we are committed to Nepal in the area of housing, culture, health and education. We have received some projects in the area of cultural heritage sector, and we are trying to work with the Government of Nepal to put in place implementation modalities to begin the work on these projects. We are trying to also engage with the Government of Nepal to have clear projects in the area of health and education, and we hope to have more details from Government of Nepal in the coming days and weeks. In the housing sector, we have committed to give $100 million of grant assistance for 50,000 households in Nepal. We have received the list of beneficiaries whom Government of Nepal would like us to assist. Government of Nepal, of course, has granted first tranche to different households in the affected area. And there also we are trying to work and put in place implementation modalities to ensure that the assistance that we provide is utilized effectively by the beneficiary households in the areas affected.
Akhilesh.
Yesterday, in your readout, you have also mentioned that we have proposed Nepal for earthquake reconstruction. And today, there is some briefing also on that. China also had proposed Nepal help in reconstruction effort. So what are the areas that we are offering and they are accepting or not accepting, and what is the area that it is left for China?
Well, if you recall, last year there was an international donors conference held in Nepal, for which our external affairs minister went, and India has committed I would say, the largest assistance package to Nepal in terms of reconstruction assistance. Now, as I mentioned to you, this assistance package comprises of two areas. One is the grant assistance of $250 million in the area of housing, cultural heritage sector, health and education. $50 million each for these three sectors, and $100 million for housing project. In addition, we have committed to provide a line of credit to Nepal dedicated to reconstruction projects of amount $750 million. During the visit of Prime Minister of Nepal last month on 16 September, we have also signed an agreement to operationalize this line of credit. Now, Government of Nepal will be sharing with us exact proposals that they want to cover in this line of credit, and we would be very happy to expedite implementation of these projects as and when we receive it. Thank you.
Sridhar.
Sir, Nepal is the current chair of SAARC. So with all that has happened in the past 2 months, including cancellation of the Islamabad summit, so will that be also one of the topics that will be discussed between President Mukherjee and the Nepalese leaders, particularly in view of the fact that many of the SAARC leaders feel that SAARC has become dysfunctional and possibly it's time to move on to BIMSTEC or some other grouping? Thanks.
I'll try to respond to that. I think with Nepal, we have, of course, a very robust bilateral engagement across, I think, all sectors that you can think of. But in addition, we also cooperate with Nepal in terms of sub-regional cooperation within the framework of BBIN, Bhutan, Bangladesh, India, Nepal, also BIMSTEC, and of course SAARC. Prime Minister of Nepal, of course, participated very recently for the BIMSTEC BRICS Outreach Summit, and we are also engaged with Nepal in the context of BBIN. I'm quite confident in the conversation that our Rashtrapati Ji will have with the political leaders. They will discuss all full range of issues covering bilateral, regional, and international issues, and I'm sure regional cooperation issue will figure in the talks.
Parul.
You just spoke about how the president has good relations with the leaders of political parties, various political parties in Nepal. Now, during his visit, is the focus also going to be on amendments to the constitution of Nepal with regard to the Madhesi issues and their demands for amending the constitution?
Well, our uh, I assume the discussion will cover all range of issues, as I said, covering all aspects of bilateral cooperation, regional issues, international issues. Uh, uh, what I can say in the context of the question that you have raised is that during the high-level political exchanges we have had recently, the government of Nepal has shared with our leadership its government's priority and efforts to address all the constitutional issues by taking all sections of the society on board. Our government has welcomed these efforts, and we hope that these efforts would further consolidate democracy in Nepal and result in the long-term stability, peace, and prosperity in Nepal. So as I said, Rashtrapati ji will be meeting a number of political leaders, not only through formal engagement, but also in various other public engagements. And I'm sure there will be a set of conversation where they will discuss all full range of issues.
Will the President of India meet some Madhesi leaders also in Nepal?
As I just mentioned, apart from formal engagement in terms of meeting with the President, the Prime Minister, the Vice President, there would be a number of opportunities for the Rashtrapati ji to interact with the political leaders, with the members of civil society at different places, and I'm sure he will have an opportunity to interact with Madhesi leaders also.
Hello.
I just want to know if the eminent persons group will also be traveling with the president, and will Mr. Sham Saran and other important interlocutors will also be traveling with him, or maybe around that.
I am not sure whether they are traveling with for the visit, but since you mentioned the issue of eminent person group, I wanted to perhaps, for the benefit of everybody, wanted to mention that this group has been, of course, constituted, and it has met twice this year. And we are very happy with the engagement from both sides to look at India-Nepal relations from a different perspective, and we hope to have their suggestions in due course.
Gautam.
Sir, I want to, as you said, that this visit will enhance the engagements with the Nepal to a higher level. So what kind of agreements are going to be signed? Can you give us some detail? And also to Mr. Rajamani, that can you give us detail about the visit to Pokhara and Janakpuri, little detail?
Okay, I'll try to address the first question as well as partly second question, and sir, you may like to add. As far as the agreements are concerned, I must note for the benefit of all of you, in the last 2 years or so, we have had really a very, very intensive engagement with Nepal, particularly this year. And we have put in place a number of new agreements to promote our cooperation in trade, economic, connectivity, people-to-people connections, tourism, and we are trying to now implement these agreements and MOU that we have signed. So I think our focus at this stage is to really implement what we have signed. So we do not intend to, we do not expect to have a number of agreements signed during this visit. As I said, we are trying to consolidate and implement what we have agreed. We really have a very, very robust, I would say, institutional arrangements in terms of cooperation with Nepal. And we really want to focus, as I mentioned earlier, whether it's connectivity projects or development projects or ICPs on the border or transmission line project or hydropower project. We really want to move on the ground. And it is for this reason that we also decided to set up an oversight mechanism, a joint oversight mechanism to review all these projects very regularly and make sure that we address all the bottlenecks that we have. On the second question, as I mentioned to you, it is not very common, I must say, for Rashtrapati ji to visit 3 cities in one place. So I think for this reason also this visit is very important. He is visiting Pokhara, where he would be interacting with Gurkha ex-servicemen who serve in Indian Army. And so this visit is extremely important for us. Janakpur, of course, is a very ancient city, and it is the city is important for pilgrims from both India and Nepal and from wider South Asian region. And Rashtrapati ji will be visiting cultural places in Janakpur, and he will also have a civic reception at Janakpur. Thank you.
Ranjit.
As you said, as you rightly said, this would be first presidential visit to Nepal after 18 years. And Nepal is a very close neighbor of India. So can you explain this long gap?
I am not sure that I can explain the long gap, but what I can perhaps say is that we hope that we will not have this long gap for the next visit.
No, but political uncertainty in Nepal has been an obvious reality.
Late President K.R. Narayanan in 1998, and before that it was late President Gyani Jail Singh Ji in 86.
So terrorism has been a major issue. What kind of assurances we have got from the Nepalese leadership? Because we have a porous border with Nepal. So can you just shed some light?
Well, we have very strong security cooperation with Nepal. As you said, we have an open border, and our security agencies on both sides cooperate very, very intensively and very closely. And in terms of terrorism, I'm sure you must have seen the press statement that was issued by Nepal, Foreign Office of Nepal, as SAARC chair, condemning, of course, underlining the need for conducive environment in the region to enable and foster regional cooperation, and of course condemning cross-border terrorism. So we would like to work with Nepal. We already work very closely with Nepal on security issues, and I'm quite confident that in the time to come, we will strengthen this cooperation further.
I see no other questions, so this press briefing comes to a close. Thank you all, and may I wish all of you a happy Dhanteras and a wonderful Diwali in the coming days. नहीं, अगले Thursday.